Leadership. 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 Your time has started counting. The first group to get to 30 should please indicate by raising their paper up. Some are thinking, some are looking. Hmm. Chukwumilo is at stake. Remember the rules as you are working. A letter can only be used as many times as it appears in the original word. Hmm. Words must contain at least 3 letters. Proper nouns, abbreviations not allowed. Avoid repeating the same word twice. Look closely. In my head, I've formed a lot of words. Okay, we have one group. How many words? 30 words. Okay. Please clap for them. Clap for them now. Celebrate people's success. Celebrate wins. Please, can I have the 30? They even added Jara. You have only. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I said at least 25 to 30. You want to do more? You've submitted. Right? So our time is up. Our time is. You did not number your words. I have 3 papers here, please. Okay. There are about 7 groups. How many? Oh, come on now. They did not number their stuff. Can you help me with a pen, please? Ah, come on. Okay, are we done? Everyone submitted. Everyone submitted. Which group is remaining? By now, everybody should have submitted because you cannot be cheating others that have submitted. It's People cannot confuse me. You cannot deceive me. What is plaid? Maybe I didn't go to school. Plaid. Is there any word like plaid? Plad. There's no plaid. I will minus it. Plad. Plaid. Plad. That's what I'm saying here. Is there a word? Please confirm. French 35. It's how's this one? English people say, where's the collection? No, this is not the outfit. Yes. 33. Who has this one? People did not write your names. How will I know the group? Let's see words. This one is 30. I don't know who has this one. It's not counted. Let me see. Okay, it's 30. This is one 30. Yes, this is 30. How many have we? One, two, I don't know. Wait, no. I just see. Oh, this is. What's this one? Okay. Please let's jam our hands together for ourselves. We are really, really intelligent people because I learned new words today. Even if even if I'm still looking for the meaning, but at least you taught me something, and I actually learned a new word today. I learned sled. She said there's something like sled, right? You just said that there's something like sled, so I don't know if I should add that to the list of things I've learned. Okay, and at the end of this competition, one, two, three, four. Group 4 is the winner of the They had 38 words. Please jam your hands together for them. These people are beefing me. Okay. So because we are behind time, we are going ahead to the next activity of for today. And Chocomilo, you're gonna get Chocomilo on your next visit. Okay, so we're going to be having a session, and founder is going to be taking us on this session. Please jam your hands together as we welcome our founder. He's going to be talking to us on turning experience into impactful stories. How many of us are ready? Of course, we're ready. Thank you, sir.
I think I have this guy. I have this one. Where's the thing?
Oh,
How are you guys doing? How's school? Good?
Mikey.
Must you are frowning this morning. What happened? Huh? I need to be seen as many teeth as possible. Frowning. Huh? I think you should smile. You're smiling downwards. Oh, you want? Okay. These media kids, they're everywhere. Can't hide. How are you? Good to see you. Hi, guys. We plan to talk about turning experience into what? Into what? I need you guys to be awake this morning, okay? Awake? We're awake? All right. So, for context, okay. For context, we live in Nigeria. What's happening in Nigeria today? What? Insecurity, banditry. What else? Huh? Inflation. What else? Huh? I need you guys to speak up. What's happening? Unemployment. What else? Huh? Okay. But in the midst of everything that's happening, there's something that everyone has. And what's that? Everyone has a story. Okay? Everyone has what? So today we're going to talk about how to turn your experience into impactful stories. Because your life should be about creating value. But to enter into those spaces where you create value, right, you need to be able to communicate the value you bring to the table. Does that make sense? Okay? So this matters because everyone is going to school to get degrees, right? Everyone is going to school to get degrees. You're going to have your CVs. But certain things can set you apart. And so today we're going to think about how storytelling can help us communicate value beyond our certificate. I went to University of Benin and I got a first-class degree is not enough. It is no longer going to be what? Enough. Right? If I can go forward here. Am I, is there something else I should be pointing to? Or is it the battery? Oh, okay. So here, you guys know that guy? He's handsome, right? That's Jeffrey, right? Just go forward. So Nigeria's opportunity challenge. So you guys are going to be operating in a crowd. You know what that means? You guys are going to be operating in a crowd. So when I say you're going to be operating in a crowd, it means that in the next 24 years, Nigeria is going to add about 150 million people, which means you're still going to be in the workplace, right? You are already operating in a crowd, right? You have a very young population. It's both an opportunity and a challenge. Everyone is competing for jobs. Do you already start? Are you feeling that intensity already? Guys, we need to talk, right? Are you already feeling that intensity, that pressure. When I graduate, what am I going to do? Right? So it's an opportunity and it's a challenge. So part of how you set yourself apart is really trying to figure out now how you tell your story. Okay? Because everything on your CV is not going to carry that weight. So part of the theme for this workshop is what? Earn your eh, earn your what? Earn your what? All right. So this informal sector there is what a huge part of our workforce is engaged in. So there's a lot of instability, a lot of low wages. So everyone now want to make money so that on our feet take care of your families, right? You can do the things that you want to do in life. So it becomes really critical that you're able to clearly communicate your values. Every single person here, I don't need to be told that you have a powerful story, right? You have a powerful story, but how does that story shape how you advance in your career? So you guys are going to help me with a simple exercise, all right? You have your pen, you have your paper, okay? So as we start to think about beyond our CVs, I want you to think about these three things, right? Your life experiences, it includes struggles. It does provide depth and insight that should enhance your narrative beyond what is listed on your CV. So I want you to write one challenge that you have faced that has shaped your life. All right. I want you to write down one responsibility that you carry and then one moment that has shaped your existence. One challenge, okay? One responsibility that you carry and one defining or growth moment that has shaped your existence. Take a few minutes. Moments come to shape how we see ourselves, right? So, what's one moment that really has shaped how you've come to see yourself? And what's that one responsibility that you carry? And what's that challenge, just one challenge that has shaped your journey? Right, I see you thinking. Thinking. I know, you're doing a good job. 1 minute. Sus. Can I get a mic? A mic for whoever is going. All right, you guys ready? No? Okay. 30 seconds. She asked for extra time. Seconds. All right, time up. So I need 2 to 3 people to share, right? I need 2 to 3 people to share from what you've written down, all right? What about what you have on that piece of paper will not show up on a CV or on your CV, but has shaped the person that you are? Anyone care to share? I need 2 to 3 people. What do you study? So I get to know you. Computer science, okay? Entering Uniburn, okay? Staying true to your values. Can you guys give her a round of applause? All right. Who else? Good. Round of applause. One more person. So we're going to pick on miracle for a second, right? So part of understanding what a story is being able to really think about how you understand an experience and use it to create meaning and change in such a positive way. So Miracle was saying that she was saying that part of the challenge that she faces, her dad has been sick for 8 years, right? Her dad has been sick for 8 years, and then she studies optometry, which means she's super smart. But what's the responsibility she carries? She has carried the responsibility of being able to help with the family's dealings, okay? And then for her moments is the fact that, can you repeat that again? Is the fact that you've embraced personal development, right? Isn't that a powerful thing when you think about how her life is being shaped by the experiences and there's meaning in the middle of it, right? Okay? So, understanding what a story is really understanding experience through meaning and change. All right? It's not half, it's full. It has to be whole. All right? So, when you think about how you tell stories and think about it beyond your CVs, there are 4 key things I want you guys to start thinking about. All right? That's Jeffrey again. Jeffrey is popular today, right? It's really understanding the context within which you are telling your story, right? The background, the circumstances surrounding your story, okay? because that experience, it sets the stage. So, for example, you guys are A2S scholars, right? And you walk into a room and you are shy about providing that context about how you got your scholarship. Made a knockout to say, not only me, right? Does that make sense? You think about the context, right? You think about helping your audience grab the importance, right? They want to understand your narrative, the importance, the significance of your narrative. Because if you don't provide context, people will not embrace your story. Does that make sense? So you need to provide the context within which your story is happening, because that narrative is very critical. It's also not a bad thing to highlight the obstacles that you faced, your challenges, right? Providing the context. This is the situation I found myself. This is what was happening. And because I found myself in this is what I faced. Does that make sense? This is what I faced. So many times we talk about how Nigeria bad, right? When we're talking about inflation, we're talking about this, we're talking about that. But what sets you apart is you still get up every day to go to school. You still dream, right? You still believe that no matter how bad it is, there is hope. Does that make sense? But how many times do you communicate that in your story? See, Nigeria bad is but one piece of the story. The challenge is there, right? The challenge is there. The challenge is obvious. And you are being resilient every day and you are being champions every day. But how many times do you communicate the fact that you are somebody who is championing their story in the middle of some of the greatest adversities that men will face in the world? Am I making any sense? So are you one of those people that you are stuck at the challenge level? Nigeria bad. But I love the exercise we did a few years ago. Some of you might be there. Where I asked you to write on average how many years you spent going to school. I think the average was 15 years. And I reminded them that every single day you had to wake up, sometimes without money for transportation, most times without food. Your parents probably did not go to school, so they didn't help you with homework. And every day you still had to wake up and you still had to go to school, figure a way out, study without books. Do you guys see how resilient you've been? Do you guys see how you believed in yourself even when everything around you says stop believing? But how many times do you communicate that? Right? So highlighting the obstacles faced adds depth and demonstrates resilience, right? It shows how struggles contribute to your personal growth. That in spite of my environment, I continue to push forward. So as an A2S scholar, I don't want you to stop at the challenge. I want you to communicate what you are doing given the challenge. How is that challenge shaping you and who are you becoming? Does that make sense? So next time I see you post on LinkedIn, it needs to be better. Does that make sense? Okay? So these are the challenges that I faced. It's built this resilience in me, but I've made a what? A choice. Does that make sense? I've made the choice because the decisions that you make, it shapes the direction of your story. Because those moments of action that you take, it tells people about your values, how you solve problems, what you've dealt with, right? Employers, they don't just want to know that you put your head down just to get first class degree. Does that make sense? Right? So the choice, A2S, what do we always say? We are advocates for what? Choice. And you make good decisions and you get to understand. Sorry, let's move. So your decisions, you just shape the direction of your story. So someone said, you are a sum of all the daily decisions that you make. Does that make sense? You are a sum of all the daily decisions that you make. And when I add to that, I always add something my coach always said. He said, pay me now or pay me later. Right? You are a sum of all the daily decisions that you make. So choice is critical. It's worse, we want you guys to make good choices. We want you guys to make God-honoring choices. And I always tell you guys that if there are 100 people in a room and 99% are being negative, the A2S scholar needs to be that one positive voice in the room. Does that make sense? And then change. What's changed in you and what changed for others because of your actions? Our sister here, Miracle, has a dad that's sick and she had to step in, right? And because she's stepping in to support the family, but something is changing in her because she is embracing personal development, right? It's a story that's worth telling, Gio, right? It's a story that's worth telling. That daddy supports the family, and this is what I learned. And on top of that, I was able to get admission into the university to study optometry. And because of my actions, XYZ is going to happen. Change. What changed in you and what changed for others because of your actions? It shouldn't be always about what changed in you. It should also be about what changed for what? For others. So how does that translate into your ability to add value to situation and places? For you to be able to say, because I went through this, or because this happened, if I join your company, you will be getting someone who is resilient, who is a problem solver, who understands what it means to shoulder responsibility with grace, and who has the skill set that you need to transform the direction of your company. Am I making sense? Okay? So this is an example, all right? I grew up in a community where many students did not have consistent access to learning support. During university, I noticed younger students struggling with basic computer skills. Instead of waiting for someone else to help, I started gathering a few of them after class and teaching them what I had learned from the A2S Workforce Development Workshops. That experience taught me leadership, patience, and how to explain complex ideas simply when you live here. How many of you? So how many of you actually think about that as expanding access for others, right? And then being able to communicate that this first class degree that I have is not just, I'm not just smart on paper, but I'm a complete human being. Am I making any sense? All right? This is understanding experience through meaning and change. There's so much pain in Nigeria, right? There's pain everywhere you turn, Agbas. Go here, Agbos. Go here, Agbis, right? But we need to start thinking about how we repurpose our challenges, how we turn pain into purpose. Okay? Turn pain into purpose. The challenges that you are facing, use them for something. Because those are the stories that are going to unlock the opportunities that are going to exist for you tomorrow. See what it says there? This is not just a story. What does it do? Can I hear you guys? Does this have anything to do with your degree? It just says you are a good human being. Who does not want to work with a good human being? Okay? So part of the struggles that we have is that I can't tell them my story now, I can't get a CB, right? Or you're just simply a very shy person and you don't know how to tell your story. And you're worried that maybe sometime you told your story and someone took advantage of you, right? So we need to first, we believe that our story matters. So how do you honor your strengths without necessarily exposing your vulnerabilities? Because being able to expose your vulnerability comes with trusting your environment. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. So your storytelling needs to be dignified. Okay? Your storytelling needs to be dignified. So if you want to tell stories, you need to honor yourself and honor your audience. What does that mean? To honor yourself, your story should reflect your true self, showcasing strengths and experiences while maintaining respect for your personal journey and growth. Honor yourself. Don't sell yourself less. Don't sell yourself more than you are. Some of una, I know say you dey study computer science for Uniben, but when you add me as a friend on Facebook, your Facebook say you are a CEO extraordinaire. You are a serial entrepreneur. Because I know you, I will say, not be you and I know, right? Honor yourself. Don't do disservice to your story by claiming to be what you are not. Does that make sense? If you are going to put anything on paper, I would rather you spend your energy working to become than claiming to be what you are not. Okay? So honor yourself. Reflect your true self. Honor your community. Share your experiences in a way that respects your family and community, ensuring that your narrative uplifts not only you, but also those who supported you. You step out of this room, you represent your family, you represent God, you represent your community, you represent A2S. Honor your community. It's part of dignified storytelling. Don't tell your stories in a way that diminishes the where you're from. So many of us, we step out of this room. Now, our mouths, now they hear all the things when they bad about Edo State, but not one good thing that happens. Does that make sense? Nigeria has some of the greatest innovators, right? It's a Nigerian that's created Flutterwave. It's a Nigerian that created Paystack. Is it not? Nigerians are the most educated immigrant group in the US. Nigerians are trailblazers. What part of the story are you telling? And what part of the story are you aligning with? At A2S, we say we are not fighting poverty. We say we are unlocking potential. So, which story you they tell? Are you fighting or are you unlocking? Am I making sense? Honor your community and reveal growth. Focus on moments of growth and resilience, emphasizing how challenges have shaped your character and your values, rather than merely recounting painful experiences. Now say it bad, now say it bad, now say it bad. Waiting done good. Now say it bad, now say it bad, now say it bad. How you want to join the people when want to make them good? That makes sense. Okay? So dignified storytelling. People, when you walk into a room, people don't want someone who comes and just talks about problems. They want someone who comes and talks about solutions. You don't want someone who just walks in and talks about pain. They want someone who walks in and channels their energy toward purpose. To honor yourself and your audience. And someone once said to me, you don't honor someone because they are honorable. You honor them because you are honorable. I have 1 minute. Okay. I have one activity for you. So know your audience and tailor your story. Understand who you are speaking to and adapt. You know, you talk to a person when we say you not send what you talk to, you don't feel adjustment that you want to. You just talk to say your voice just sound good to yourself, right? Adjust your storytelling to fit your listeners' expectations. I'm going to a job where they do oil versus the job where they sew cloths, and not tailor my expectations to the place I'm going to. That's a problem. The value of your story is connect your truth to your audience needs. Audience awareness, purposeful sharing. Understanding your audience is essential. That's what I just talked about. And every story should carry a purpose. So from today, make sure that every story you tell carries what? Carries a purpose. Don't tell empty stories. Whether it's stories about you, stories about others, stories about your community, make sure your story ends with purpose. Reflect on the values that you truly want to communicate and inspire action or belief in your listeners, helping them see what you contribute clearly. Storytelling builds credibility. I don't have a lot of time. Peculiar says, I'm done, right? All right. So claims versus evidence. I did talk about this earlier, actually alluded to it. So stories provide proof of your skills and experience. Transformation and narrative reshapes your claims into meaningful insights. I once interviewed somebody who wrote that they are this, they are this, that, they are this because the job requires it. When they showed up to the interview with Sister Tekla and I pulled up a spreadsheet and I said, this is a very basic Excel function. Can you show me how to do it? The person begin to speak French. Right? So make sure you clearly communicate something that you can back. This was supposed to be a part of it. What I wanted to use my own story, talk about connection, purpose, and growth in how you tell an impactful story. But that we will get a chance another day. This is linked as well. But there's one thing I want you guys to do for me so Peculiar, I don't get into trouble with Peculiar. The types of stories, you have the growth story that highlights a moment when you changed or learned something significant, showcasing your ability to adapt or evolve in response to life's challenges. A challenge story is recount a difficult situation you faced, okay, demonstrating resilience and personal growth that emerged from overcoming obstacles, highlighting your strength and determination. And then a contribution story illustrates a time you actively helped others or made a positive impact, showcasing your leadership skills and commitment to serving your community and your peers. So I wanted to do a 90-second story before we leave, okay? Your quick personal story, your narrative framework. All right, when you think about this, so you guys are going to write this. I think, Peculiar, I have 3 minutes. Do I have 3 minutes? Thank you. Your structure matters. A concise structure helps you clearly communicate your experiences. This framework encourages focus and ensures you highlight essential points in a memorable way, and then practice is key. It's not only when you need to share your story that you just come out and you do wow. You have to practice. Practice, practice, practice. We're talking about practice. All right. Personal narrative framework. I want you guys to take 90 seconds to write that. This is an example. My name is Blessing and I am studying computer science. One experience that shaped me was helping younger students in my neighborhood learn basic computer skills. Many of them had never used a laptop before, and at first I did not think I had enough knowledge to teach anyone. But I started with what I knew and created small weekly lessons. Through that experience, I learned patience, communication, and leadership. Today, I want to use technology to make learning more accessible for underserved students. That is why I am interested in education, technology, and digital inclusion. So my name is Dash. I am studying Dash. One experience that shaped me was Dash. The challenge was Dash. I choose to Dash. Through that experience, I learned Dash. Today, I'm using that lesson to Dash, and that's why I'm interested in Dash. 30 seconds. Let me go and make my case behind the session. Yeah. Huh? No, I didn't have time. What's I get? I don't get time at all. No, no feedback. When am I? No, no, start late. How much am I ahead? How much time am I ahead? No, no worry, no worry. I'll buy on a chocolate. If anyone is done, I just want one person to share. One person. Anyone willing? Any volunteer? I just pleaded my case, and Peculiar says I have 20 more minutes. I'm just kidding. I am wrapping up. So don't forget that the goal is to earn your edge. And in earning your edge, you need to be able to tell impactful stories. All right? Context, the choice, the challenge, and the change. All right, you guys done? Because we need to wrap up. We done? Okay, I'm moving along. I think Peculiar will share these slides with you guys if you want it. Okay. All right, we're done. Oh, why do you pause this? Okay. Hold on. So all of that to say, that was that an impactful story? But that was one of you. You guys heard about the community impact grant? So that was one of you that applied and used it to transform his community and put lights so thousands of people can have access to power. Now, if I add that to that's not why he did it, but imagine telling that story in an interview. If you just get a first class degree and you go to an interview with perfect, all I have to say is good luck. Right? You guys see what we're trying to do here? Okay? Make sure that you can turn your experience into impactful stories, and A2S creates that enabling environment. Seize opportunities when they present themselves. All right? Thank you so much, guys. And that's important. The most important piece, what can you learn from the greatest story ever told? Everything that you've thought about, the context, the challenge, the choice, and the change, think about how the story of Jesus was told. How would your story be told? All right. Thank you so much, guys. God bless. Thank you.
You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Thank you, sir. I like this closing statement. Seize your opportunities as they come. All right, so we are quite far behind schedule. So very quickly, we are going to be moving on to the next activity for the day, which is our breakout session. So I'm sure you all know the session that you are assigned to or you picked for this morning session. So I'll just be letting you know your venues and you would be proceeding. So if you are for the strategic thinking for career growth, you are going to be remaining here. You are going to be having your session here. Then those of you that are for the effective learning strategies session, you are moving to the Rutledge Johnson's library and you are taking the door straight to the Rutledge Johnson library. And finally, those for ethics in the workplace, you'll be going to the Cook's Creative Arts Studio. You'll be taking that exit for less congestion at the exit. So right, yes, strategic thinking, you are remaining here. Effective learning, you are going through there through the library, and ethics at the workplace, you are taking that exit to the creative studio. So please let us stand as we move to our designated locations. Let's stand, let's stand. Those of you remaining here, please move forward. Please, when you return, please, quick one, when you return from your session, the way you sat this morning, that's how you're going to be sitting when you are back. Do you get? Do you understand?
When you return, it's the way you sat this morning that you are going to be sitting. So those of you for strategic thinking, please move forward. There's an empty table here. Please fill up the first tables.
Two things. Sure. Hello? Hello? Should I move it up? Test. 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 Good. That's good. Thank you, Michelle. Did I do that? Is it clicker? The slides? Do you have it?
I just gave him one to peculiar.
I mean, I can start. I don't need the slides. Okay. Are we ready to go? Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for choosing this session. I hope it's worthwhile for you. My name's Andrew Tussing. I'm from the United States. I have the great privilege to serve on the A2S US board. I've been doing it for two sessions, about 5 years in now. Just some background on me. I'm in the finance world. I'm a CFO for a small fintech company. I have a wife and two small kids. So really happy to be here. First time in Nigeria, and been supportive of A2S for almost a decade. So thank you. But I'm what you guys are more important, and I'm really excited to be here. And what you guys are doing, what Andrew was talking about, the challenges you guys have overcome will continue to overcome is remarkable. So I just hope I can shed some light on the successes and failures I've had and pass some of those on. So today I want this to be a workshop. I don't want it to be a lecture. Does everybody have a handout? Okay, great. Okay, cool. So just a bit of background on me. I have made some success in my career, but it took me at least a decade to figure out what I wanted to do. And so I would say for many of you, you're on the younger side, it's never too early to start. and it's never too late to start. Okay, so just remember that. I have had more failures than successes. But that's where you learn. All right. So some objectives for today. This is in your packet. Define strategic thinking, identifying your own strengths and growth opportunities, analyze your unique challenges. We talked a little bit about that through Andrew's session, and set career goals aligned to your strengths and opportunities, and then develop an action plan. This is really the most important thing we'll do today. We put pen to paper. We'll talk a little bit about what are some actions that we can do, that we can leave today with, whether it's a goal for next week, it's a goal for the next month, it's a goal for the next year. All right. All right. So part one. All right. So we're gonna go through a little bit of an exercise, and then I'll give you a little time to write. So imagine it's 5 years from today. In that case, some of you may be 20, some of you may be 25, some of you may be 30. I'll be 50, which is kind of hard to think about, but I'll be 50. What would your life look like if you could have it exactly how you want it to be? So take 30 to 60 seconds to write that down. What would your life look like in 5 years from now if you could have it be exactly how you want it to be? What date time am I targeting to be done, just so I'm managing time? 10:40? Oh, wow. Thanks, Andrew. Okay. What you got to do is ask. You can get 5 minutes every time you ask. Should I ask for another five? All right, I'll pause. So everybody, you can keep going on this, and if you don't finish anything, take it with you, please. All right. So what does success look like? It's going to look like different for everybody. What's the kind of work that you're doing? Who are you helping, and what are you most proud of? I think the most important thing that we'll take away from today is that many people have dreams. We all have dreams, right? But not many people have plans, right? And to achieve our goals, strategic thinkers take actions today to try and get to the outcomes that they want for tomorrow. Does anybody want to share any of their? You might want to do what life looks like in 5 years. Anybody want to do a? Yes. Do we have a mic? Oh, okay. So in 5 years, we want to finish our degree and get our master's, or be in our master's program, right? Be in your master or have it done. Okay, I don't know, but so you're well into your master's program. Okay, great. All right, I'm going to keep using you as an example if that's okay. All right, cool. All right, so part two, strengths. Uh, Many people, including myself, have a tendency to look at the world with the glass half full or glass half empty versus glass half full. A lot of people don't spend enough time thinking about their strengths, rather their weaknesses. So I want you to write down some of your strengths, just some things to kind of think about as you're writing down your strengths. What activities come easily to you? What do your friends ask you for help with? And what do people compliment you on? Those are kind of good triggers to say, okay, I don't think about it. I don't have that many strengths. Oh, but these people do these. Okay, that connects some of those dots. Just in the interest of time, I'm going to keep going here. So these strengths are clues. They do not determine our future, but they often help point us to the opportunities that we want. Strategic thinkers understand and develop their strengths. So, what was your name again? Call you what? Yonge? Longe? Longe? Longe. Sorry. Osari? Osari V? We're going to have to move on because what, Remy? Yes. Remy? Okay. I'm sorry, Remy. I'm embarrassed, but I'm going to keep moving on. Okay. All right. So, strengths. What strengths do you have that would help you to finish your current degree and get into the master's program? With strengths. Yes. Oh, yeah.
I would say I'm studying.
Studying. Okay.
And yes, I give very good advice. And I'm good at impromptu speaking and debates. Very good. It's not very good at
Okay. Good studying, which is critical for school, and good for impromptu speaking, which would be good in the psychology field. Okay, great. All right, so let's move to part 3. So my challenges. Every goal we have is going to have an obstacle, right? Many, sometimes. The question is not whether the obstacle exists, but how we respond to it. Let's see. So that's the section 3. What are some of the biggest challenges standing between you and your goals? What part of the challenge can you control? I think that's really an important piece. I myself have a tendency to focus on the things I can't control and just ruminate and stress over those, but it's like, what's the point? I can't control them. And what resources already exist that could help you today? So take a few minutes, write those down as it relates to your ideal 5-year space, your challenges, and what obstacles are there to get to those, to get to that spot. All right, I see heads popping up. So what are some of the obstacles that you guys face with your chat? I'm guessing some of them are consistent in this room, and I'm sure some of them are unique to each of you. Anybody want to talk about some of those challenges, and then things that you can control within that, and resources that are already there to overcome those? Anybody want to take a shot at that? Please. Is what? Procrastination. Yeah. Yeah. Procrastination and confidence. Of those things, what can you control? Well, you can control your own actions, right? You can control those, right? Yeah, you can try. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, you can try. Yeah, yeah. What are some tools that are already out there, or resources that are out there that can help you with those? Okay. So there's a lot of different ideas that I could throw out. One is for motivation, and many people struggle with this. And this isn't an advice section, but while I'm thinking of it, um, one idea is having someone to help you stay accountable, right? So you can say, these are my goals. I want to have my homework done by this time. I want to be studied by this test at this time. And then share that with somebody or write it down. That way you've got it and you can be like, am I on track? And if I'm not, have somebody asking me questions to kind of keep you updated or keep you accountable. So that's one way to do it. Right. Anybody else want to talk about a challenge they want to bring up? Yes, please. Discipline. Thank you. One thing I would say, and this applies to both of us, or all three of us, and many of us here for both of these situations, is change, lasting change takes time, right? So if you can get 1% better every day, a little bit better every day, those additions make big changes. So I know you're like, oh, I have to try and conquer the world tomorrow. But if you can make those small wins and you can build on them, I mean, from a confidence standpoint, you raise your hand and you're sharing your obstacles and challenges. That's pretty brave. Is that the confidence issue that you're struggling with? No, doing great. So just just keep in mind that it takes decades to build a career, but having a plan to get there is really important. Knowing your strengths is important. Knowing the obstacles you have, and then what you can do to try and work through them and bring other people into the fold to ask for help. I think that's really important. I think some people are afraid to ask for help, whether it's their peers, their siblings, their parents, their teachers. Um, some of the best advice I've gotten, some of the best help I've gotten, I've come from mentors and other people who believe in me. Okay, so moving on to part 4, my strategy. So we've got our vision, was our goal for 5 years, our strengths, gaps, and we're always going to have gaps. Always, always. Sometimes they're the same ones, sometimes they're new. And what are our actions? Oh, perfect. Oh, thank you. Just in case you can't read my handwriting, it's up there. Strategy is simply thinking ahead, having a plan that connects where you are today to where you want to be in the future. So if you could just take a few minutes, write down, answer the questions for 4. Okay, and then, thank you. It's section 5 is my action plan. All right, so goals without actions are just wishes. And this is really the most important part. And so if we run out of time, please take these home, complete the exercise, hold yourself to it. What do you want to accomplish? Things to think about. What do you want to accomplish in the next year? What skills do you need to develop to achieve that? So if we took the 5-year exercise, what if we do that for 1-year exercise? What skills do you need to develop?
The coffee's hot.
Oh, okay. Thank you. What actions can you take this month? And what actions can you take this week? How do we make those small improvements to get better? The best way to achieve big goals is to chop it up into small pieces, right? And it's important to continuously take that next step, even when it feels hard. Always taking that next step. So, what is our vision? What strengths do we have to get us there? They can help, but they don't define it. There are other strengths, there are other things that we can do, but strengths help guide us toward that vision. What are the gaps that we have today? Within those gaps, what are the things that we can control? What help can we get? What do we need to do within ourselves with pure will and determination? And then what's our action plan? So I think I'm coming back next year because they want to do a board meeting in Nigeria. Most of all our board meetings are in the United States. But if I came back 1 year from today, and I got to have this awesome group back again, what would you like to have accomplished that you wrote down today or had an aspiration for? Think about that. Think about that. And I have to challenge myself too, because I was thinking about this on the plane. I'm like, I better do this for myself. So I will. That's my time. Any questions that the team has? Yes, please.
Okay, my name is Anta.
Anita.
Okay, so my question, what if you're like um people in love and then you are having this feeling like you can handle the things they do and even if they're speaking it and you know or laying down ideas, you do not even know what to say because you feel maybe everybody know like they do. How do you
Sorry, say that one more time.
you're surrounded with people that are, you know, intelligent, both emotionally, strategically, and all of that.
but you feel within yourself, oh, there are a lot of good people out here, but I don't think I know a lot like you do. How do you overcome such fear?
So being around people who are smart and you're intimidated by that, yeah, that's fair. That's really fair. So um, I think part of it is being vulnerable and saying, look, I don't know these things, but I want to and I want to learn. Um, I think studying on your own to try and get caught up in whatever those topics are. But I spent probably 20 years of my life trying to be something that I wasn't. I was trying to be what I thought other people wanted me to be, and a lot of time and energy on that. And so now, and I don't have it figured out, but I'm going to ask silly questions. I'm going to be a part of that because I want to absorb those things. So your option is, if you're around those people and they're good people, most people want to teach. Most people want to, like, if you have something you're good at and someone asks you to show you, like, it's fun, right? Or like if you're good at basketball and someone's like, how do you shoot a basketball? It's like, all right, well, let me show you. It's fun, right? Like most good people are going to want to share in those types of things. And it becomes like a snowball type effect. Again, the more exposure you have, those little wins allow you to build that confidence, to understand. But I wouldn't worry about what other people think. I know it's easier said than done. You're not being criticized, or you are being criticized. I understand. Yeah, you don't want to be criticized. Um, some of the degree is who you put yourself around, right? Who are the people that surround you, right? If you're putting yourself around people, and not all of this is within your control, but putting yourself around the people who aren't going to do that, right? I once heard someone say, "You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So who are you spending your time with? Are they good people? Are they kind people? Are they smart people? Because you sometimes default to the group that you're in. Any other questions?
Yes. Change your change.
How do you change your friend group, right? Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. It's not easy. Um, when I was in high school, I was with a group of, I was very focused on being popular, and the popular kids started to party and drink and that type of stuff, and I didn't want to be a part of that. But I wanted to. Again, coming back to being something that trying to be something that I wasn't. I spent a lot of time agonizing. I wanted to be with them, but I didn't want to be with them on the weekends because I didn't want to go down that path of bad habits. Um, and I started reaching out to new people that weren't in the prototypical popular group. And I ended up finding some of the best friends I've ever had by doing that. Um, so that's just one example. But how do you do it? I think it's having the courage to step out of your comfort zone and try and find new people. I would say that every new situation, there's going to be new people that you meet, whether it's new classes, new places that you live, people you see on the bus, right? Like, take those as opportunities to try and meet new people. But if you're surrounded by the same people all the time, sometimes it's tricky. Um, but it takes some courage to step out of your comfort zone for people that that you're used to being with. I know that's not a great answer, but it is possible. And coming back to the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? Like, think about that, right? You're only doing yourself a disservice if you stay around people that aren't going to lift you up. Are we on time? We okay? Okay. Pick. There's too many good hands. I'll be around afterwards if you want to come grab me too.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My name is Taufik and I'm studying computer engineering. My question is on strategy.
Yeah.
Now, how did you find out your vision and were your strengths aligned with your visions? And if they were not, how did you build it? And how did these strengths help you fill the gap between who you are and who you have to become in order to become the kind of person that you want to be?
Yeah.
And lastly, how did it help you take positive actions that will be of positive impact on the future? And in terms of values, that's like honesty, integrity, and all. What is one value that stands out for you in helping you become the person that you are today?
Oh, there's a lot there. Good questions. So first, how did I figure out? I think the first question was, how did I figure out my vision? What strengths? And then second is what strengths? Basically, going through this exercise for me. I went to school to study finance and banking because that's what I thought I should do, and that's what my dad did. But I really hadn't put a lot of thought into it. I was, quite frankly, pretty lazy when I was younger, and I figured out in my 20s that wasn't going to get me anywhere. I started out in financial sales, and I realized that I don't like selling. I like doing analytics. I like doing problem solving. And I figured out I could problem solve better than most, and I didn't have a problem. I liked figuring out problems that other people wanted to avoid. And that's a unique skill for people to have. Because most people just, they don't want to tackle things that are hard. So if you go after things that are hard and you get marked as a problem solver, you will get noticed. So the strengths that I had, I was willing to go after things. I was willing to put in extra time. I was willing to stop being lazy. And I used a lot of math and analytics to do that. I love strategy. I love chess. I love playing those types of games. And so I would kind of reorganize in my mind the problem that I had at work or in a social situation to more of into it like a game in my mind to try and solve it. Like there was really an answer to that riddle. And so that got me kind of noticed along the way as going from an analyst to a manager. And at that point, I was really excited to manage people. When you talk about values, integrity, and those types of things, I think honesty is probably one of the most important traits that you can have going along with integrity. People can see through BS, right? They can see through nonsense, right? So being yourself, being humble, but to what Andrew was saying earlier, like say what you can do and do what you can say. Don't oversubscribe, but don't sell yourself short. And then if you commit to do something for somebody and you do it and you repeatedly do that, that is so powerful. When people can trust your words through your actions, you will get noticed. If you solve problems that other people have, that other people don't want to raise their hands for, you will get noticed. So honesty, hard work, consistency, being vulnerable, asking for help, I think are all really important skills that have helped me along the way. But again, I've had way more failures than successes. I think I've just been really lucky. And lucky to be talking to you guys. So. Yeah, please. That question. We already had that question. It's a good one. So there are. So my wife is a social psychologist. She has her PhD. She teaches business psychology. So the there are a lot of different types of ways and tricks that you can do to kind of trick yourself into working at a time and or at a speed that helps, right? So three come to mind. One we talked about, and it's about having other people help set accountability. So if you know you've got a task, whatever it is, and it's you have a presentation due in 3 days, map out that presentation into 4 or 5 reasonable chunks. Okay, I need to have to do this sequentially. I need to be able to do this. I need to do this, and set out the time frame with which you want to have it done. The normal you is going to do it all on the last day, right? And so have those checkpoints, right? And those checkpoints, either you hold yourself accountable for and say, hey, look, by this date, I can't have lunch, or I can't do what I want, I can't watch TV, I can't do what I want until this gets done. If that doesn't work, then have an accountability partner, somebody else who will hold you accountable and say, and they're going to have to be ruthless, right? They're going to be like, look, you haven't gotten this done. You need to do this done, get this done. You asked me to be your accountability partner. Make sure it's done before you move on to those next steps, right? That's one way. Temptation bundling is another. Temptation bundling is a little bit more fun. You set those same tasks. At the end of the first task, you get to do something fun for yourself. Same thing with 2, and same with 3, and same with 4, and 7. There's another method called and this is more when you're doing the work itself. I can't remember what the name of it is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The idea is you get into a focused state, assuming you can. You basically turn off your phone, everything you're doing, and you work for 20 to 25 minutes. You don't check email, you don't check text messages, you don't pick up the phone, assuming that that's even feasible. And then you take a 5-minute break, and you do that for, like, if you block a 2-hour session and you do that over and over again, those 20-minute blocks, you can get a tremendous amount of work done. But if you're like me and you're checking your email and you work for 2 minutes, then you do this, it's like your mind you don't get any of the multiplier effect. So one is accountability, temptation bundling, and then when you're in the work, literally set a timer for 20 minutes. Be like, I am going to focus on this for 20 minutes, and you will be amazed by how much you get done. Well, that procrastinators or non-procrastinators, it works. Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking, what is starting now? It's fun. And it's not really easy working there when so it's not really easy working there. As someone that tries to build a career in artist management, most times I get so like you're too emotional, you're acting like a woman, you don't think this way, like our opinions are just contradicting itself most of the time. It's like my ideas, the way I want them to like, okay, I want you to promote your song this way, I want you to do this business this way. I'll be like, no, this is what I want. I'm actually the manager, so I'm supposed to like advise him the right way. And so that's what I feel like an issue. I don't want to be having issues with like clients concerning how to like project themselves, even though I feel that their own way of wanting to project themselves as an artist is not a way that we can actually sell to the audience. So like what advice would you give me in a way to not work based on my emotions while dealing with my clients? To work like professional, like very professional.
To stay professional. Um, Yeah, it's a good question. And are your emotions getting in the way? Is that, yeah, yeah. Some of that's just maturity. Not that you're immature, but just growing with age, right? Um, I think sometimes it's about having people that you can be outlets to. You can say, look, I'm going to be my real self to you, and I'm going to talk about this problem, and and then refocus and take time between your decisions too. Like if you want to have a reaction, pause, have a reaction with somebody else, but not necessarily with the person you're concerned about not showing that to. Um, yeah, I don't know if that's a great answer for you. I'm sorry. You wanted a perfect answer. Sorry. I don't know. I think it's time, and I think it's taking a deep breath and working through things and not reacting too much in the moment. Any other questions?
My question is under my challenges.
Okay.
So I have a question under that. So I want to ask, how do you manage inferiority complex? Let me see, anywhere you find yourself, how do you handle the fact that you are not enough or you are not qualified to be there? You are trying to fit in among those group of people, but yet it seems whatever you say is always less than what the rest are thinking about. Then, secondly, I want to ask, how do you work with communication in terms of pressure? Let's say you are being pressured on an interview or a speech.
Sorry, can you say a little bit louder? I got you the first question.
Okay,
What's
I
the
said, how do you handle communication when being pressured?
under pressure?
Yes, handle pressure with communication. Let's say you have an opportunity that you're actually speaking to a large group of
Yeah.
people, but they are actually top personalities around you, and you
Yep.
want to be able to handle yourself in such a way that you don't reject. Also, sometimes, most I discover that each time I want to speak in public, what I intend saying in my mind is not actually what comes out.
I do that all the time. 90% of this presentation has been that. So two good questions. The first one was um, basically imposter syndrome, right? You're like, I'm an imposter. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not as smart as these other people. Um, a lot of people, some of the most successful people in the world struggle with that. So um, I think one of the important things that I've realized over time is that thoughts are not reality. I could have a thought that elephants are purple. That's not necessarily true, right? And so I think one thing to do is writing down some of those thoughts that you have and examining them and saying, do these make sense? If I were to say this to somebody else in my situation, and you, who you are and what you're concerned about, would you tell the same thing to somebody else? Or is it just specific to you? But I would say that the imposter syndrome is very common, especially, I mean, a lot of successful people struggle with it. And I think that, and there's a ton of studies on this, and I'm not up to date on them, but um, some of that can be used as a superpower, right? Because it fuels you to try and prove to some degree that you belong there, right? For people who are like, of course, I'm awesome. I belong here, right? They've lost their edge, right? But if you're like, I don't know if I do belong there. I got to prove that I got to be there. As long as it's not becomes an obsession, it can drive you to do things, to go farther, to work harder that others won't, who don't have that. So to the extent that you can turn it into a superpower, try. Now, communication and standing up in front of people and comms, totally get that. When I was a kid in school, I used to, when we had to read out of a book and it would come around to me, I always had to go to the bathroom when it was my turn to go, right, to read. So I would leave and then I would come back. Um, and then when I got my MBA, so master's program, they made us present almost every other class. So almost every other class we were presenting, and I hated it. But like that repetition, and it didn't matter what we were talking about. Like it didn't matter. But it was like getting in front of people and just talking was the exposure. But what I learned is exposure helps. That doesn't help you right out of the gate, but that does help over time is exposure and being in front of people. But practicing. The more confident you are, the better you're going to present, and the more confident you will be is based on how much you prepare ahead of time. So the best presentations I've ever done are some of the biggest ones because I spent so much time preparing for them. Just like anything, just like a test, right? You're going to do well if you study for it. So present it to other people, ask for feedback, do it in front of a mirror, whatever works for you. But if you just be like, I hope this goes well, you're running the risk of it not going well. Preparation.
My name is Divine, and my question goes like this. So, first of all, we talked about imagining our future and mapping out visions.
Yep.
And secondly, you say should identify our personal strengths.
Yep.
And my question goes like this: what are the possible ways that one can identify our personal strengths? Because for me personally, when I was filling out this handout here, I really don't know anything about my personal strengths. But for the weakness, the challenge, I have a lot to say.
Okay. So you got all weaknesses and no strengths. That's what you're saying.
How to identify always know our personal strengths.
Yeah. How you doing? Yeah. I got it. I would ask some of your closest friends, family, and colleagues what your strengths are. Like ask them. Like, hey, what am I good at? What do you see? Um, because others can usually see it in ourselves more than we can see it in ourselves. Um, I would ask yourself, some of the things we talked about. What are things that people come to you for expertise? Are there people like, I go to him whenever I've got this problem? What are the things that come more easy to you? And then what are the things that you gravitate towards? People have a tendency to do the things, to spend the time on the things that they are good at, right? So I would examine some of those. So ask other people what comes easy, what do you spend your time doing? But I can guarantee you, it's not just strengths or gaps and weaknesses in those strengths. You just got to figure out what some of those are. They're cutting me off. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Was that how we clapped for that session? I'm celebrating, people that had distracted us. All right, so very quickly, we are going to be moving to our question and answer session. And I'm very excited about this session because in time past, these sessions have usually been handled by myself and my colleagues. But today, this session is going to be facilitated by you. So we're going to be having facilitate this session. So I'll be inviting the first facilitator of the session, Mr. Victor Ede. Please put them together for him. The 300 level medical student. Say together for him. Put together for him. Is our doctor in the making. And our second facilitator for this session is Miss Rejoice Osaide. So she's a 200 level pharmacist, right? 200 level pharmacist. I'm promoting, but still, please put your head together for her, and you can have a seat when he puts it up. And our beautiful, wonderful facilitators for today's session are going to be joining them on stage. So please let's make welcome Mr. Giovanni and we take his seat on stage. Let's put your hands together for him. You see, he's actually happy to be here. Put your hands together for him to just there. Right. Our next facilitator that will be joining them on stage is Mr. Andrew Tosin. I heard his name. I thought he was a Yoruba man because I heard Tosin. But Tosin, please put it together for him. And last but not the least, definitely not the least, our final facilitator we are going to be having, please with our hands jamming, please with our hands jamming, let's make welcome our simple Miss Charlotte to join them on stage. Please put hands together for them. Please put hands together for them as I hand over the mic to our facilitator for this session.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eddie Victor Wright. So I'll be the first talk today. So we have for us to I'll go first. Okay. So first of all, I'll anyone can actually answer the questions. So if you can answer the question, or just okay. If you can answer the question, just let me know. Okay. So are there strategies or plans that can help the students? Okay. Are there strategies or plans that can help the um, stick to a set study time and build consistency over time? And okay, so that the students will not struggle to study, but instead get things done um, for a number of certain hours and stay consistent over those hours. Did you get the question? Okay. So one
Charlotte does.
okay.
So if a student has an exam, say coming up in 2 weeks, right? You have to avoid cramming because your brain can only process 20 to 50 minutes of information at a time. So I would suggest setting aside time every day, maybe every other day, to study, review notes, and take it in 50-minute increments so that you don't overwhelm your brain. So yeah.
You want to answer?
Yeah, two things that I would suggest is one is I think all of this needs to start with purpose. Okay, we talk a lot about purpose at Access to Success and talk about values. I think you need to understand that the studying that maybe you're disinclined to do or it feels like it's boring or whatever, you have to tie that to something that matters to you. You have to tie that to your vision for your life, the type of person you want to become, the way that you want to rise better than the station that you started with and provide a better life for your family. Like, you need to not just be looking at, do I like reading this textbook? But you need to be looking at, this is my path to go earn my edge. This is my path to have the life that I'm going to be proud of, that I'm going to raise your hand if you really love studying. It's okay. Okay, we got one, maybe two, three people. That's okay. I love that for you guys. That's wonderful. I'm sure you're very smart. Most of us don't like studying, right? I'd rather like play video games or go play football with my friends than study. And if that's you, if you're the other 99% of the people in this room, you have to build habits. So there are a few things that you do to build a habit, and you need to build a habit around your studying if this is something you want to do more. And that's a trigger. And you say, hey, every day when I get home from school, I do studying. Or after dinner, have a trigger and say, I start at the same time. Then you do the thing, you study for 20 minutes, you study for 2 hours, whatever it is, and then give yourself a reward at the end. Okay, so this is a key way to build a habit so that the next time you go to study, you say, oh yeah, that's something that I'm used to doing, and do it consistently. And that reward at the end can be just you sitting for a second and thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? I didn't really want to do that, but I did it. Or it can be, I'm going to go for a walk with a friend, or I'm going to have a chat with somebody, or I'm going to just have a nice drink of water and relax. Give yourself something at the end of doing something hard that teaches yourself that I just did something good, and every time I do this, it's good for me. So you have to start with purpose, do it consistently, and give yourself even just breathing for 2 minutes and just like relaxing and just saying, I'm so glad I'm done with that. I did what I'm supposed to do. Give yourself a reward, and that's going to build a cycle within your mind, within your body, within your day, so that you keep doing it consistently.
Thank you.
The second question, the Pomodoro technique is highly recommended, but many students find that the 5 minute break easily derail their focus, making it incredibly difficult to start the next 25-minute study block. What psychological strategies or boundary can we use to transition smoothly out of a break and back into a deep focus? Should I take the question again? Yeah, you want to go?
So is the question about keeping focus when you get distracted? Is that what the question is? When you have the Pomodoro tech? Yeah.
Minutes of work and then a 5-minute break. And then sometimes that 5-minute break turns into like an hour and a half and you just don't get back to work.
So how do you stop from doing the Pomodoro? That's what we were talking. I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah.
I was thinking Portobello. That's not what. Yeah.
Portobello.
Um,
Do you have an idea? Or you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Okay. So this is a real thing, guys. Listen, part of what you all need to realize is you are moving into a phase in your life. Your life is less structured, and you have to be your own discipline. It was one thing when you were younger and you went to school and then you went to ASA and then maybe you went home and someone made you do your homework or whatever. When you're younger, things are very structured. And when you're older, you need to figure out how to manage yourself. You are your own boss. You are your own manager, and you need to figure out how to do that. So it's different for all of us, but just asking this question is good. But what you need to realize is when that happens, write it down. If you want to, have a page in your notebook to say, hey, I started a 5-minute thing. It took me 9 minutes. And what did I do? Oh, I was playing games on my phone. Okay, well, maybe don't play games on your phone during that 5 minutes. Write it down and see what's not working. And then take steps to say, okay, you know what I should do? Maybe I should read a book for 5 minutes. Or I'll go for a walk around my house. Or I'll do something that is not going to like be so much distracting that I can't get back into my work. But if you're going to do the Pomodoro technique, then you have to find out how to stick to that 5 minute and get back into it. And whatever's keeping you out of it, don't do that thing, right? If playing games or calling your friend turns into a half hour, well then that's not a good 5-minute break. That 5-minute break is not to like do the most amazing thing. It's to give your brain some time to rest, to think about what you're doing next, and to go into that next piece with more energy. So it's going to be different for each one of you, but realizing that that's happening, I think it's great. You don't need a bunch of technology. Just have a piece of paper and write it down. That 5 minutes was 9 minutes. That's okay. Maybe I can do better. That 5 minutes was 45 minutes. Wow, I ruined the whole thing. And then figure out how to fix that. Write it down. And this is how you become your own manager. You guys are learning to do this in university. You're going to need to do it even more when you're in a job. And if you advance in your job and become a manager and become a boss, then there's even less structure where someone's forcing you to do what you need to do. And if you want to be successful, you have to be your own boss and be your own manager. That means figuring out what works for you.
Okay, so the next question. So how can one bring in one's personal ethics other than those in the office into the workplace? Do you get the question? Do you get the question, or should I come again?
No, I get it.
Okay.
How do you bring in your own ethics? That may be contrary to what's in the office. Well, we've got the ethics master over here, so I'm going to take a quick shot, but then let him come over the top. I think, and we talked a little bit of this in our section. There were some questions about values and what's important, right? I think being true to yourself is very important, and being consistent. And if it goes against the grain, then you go against the grain, right? But you know in your heart what's right. And one of the most important things you can do as a student, as a person, as an employee, as a boss is when you say you're going to do something, you stick to it and you do it. And if it slips, you explain why it slipped in terms of timeline or whatever it is, and you go and explain that. You don't just put your head down and miss it, right? But honesty is kind of like paramount. And but I wouldn't sacrifice your ethics or your morals for other people. And if it's a place that isn't consistent with yours, then it's probably not a place that you need to consider staying at.
Okay, so a deeper angle on it. Listen, Jesus tells us that we are the light of the world, and we need to be a light in darkness and a light in our workplaces. And we're all people around us who are not doing the right thing. It might seem like something small where they just cheat a little bit. It might seem a really big thing where they're stealing a bunch of money. Whatever it is, we are called to be a light in the world. And a great way to do that against the pressure, we were talking about this in our session, a great way to do that against the pressure, because there's going to be pressure and people say, oh yeah, we always steal a little bit. Oh yeah, that's fine. Just got to do a little bit of this, leave some for yourself. Everyone does it. A great way to do that is just to be excellent. And by that, I mean that if a bunch of people are doing the lazy thing, doing the cheating thing, doing the thing that's being mean to somebody else because oh, we laugh about it, a great way to do it is to be the person who's best at your job and say, hey, do a great job. And then to be an example where all the other people are doing something else, say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it right, and I'm still going to get good marks from the boss. I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to still get my research project done or whatever it is. And that takes something that is different from what a bunch of people are doing. You're doing such a good job in your studies in university that when you get to that job later, you don't have to cheat or shave off the edges or do something a little bit wrong to do the right thing.
Next question. How can a student develop strategic thinking?
Integrity.
How can a student develop strategic thinking, maintain integrity, and improve their learning ability in a way that give them strong advantage in their future career?
Gio, you want to take this one?
Thinking, right? Like, what is strategic thinking? There's not just this work we're doing, but it's going to impact this thing, and it's going to let us be competitive, and it's going to let us grow. Strategic thinking is just thinking through the problem through the next few steps. If anyone's played chess, you can't just so you know what's going on. And the only way to do that is to do the work. So you need to be disciplined. You need to put your time in. And part of the way to develop that is to have mentors. So whether you're in your studies or you're getting into a job or whatever it is, find a mentor that can help you see things that you don't see. Because that strategic thinking, that's if you're a first hire employee, that's thinking a little bit like your manager. And your manager's thinking, we need to grow the team. We need these people to work together. We need to be prepared for next month. That strategic thinking is just leveling up, thinking longer down the line, thinking about what to do to get a mentor. You guys have such a blessing. You guys will realize maybe in a few years, if you don't right now, that this community and a network through A2S where you can find a mentor and say, hey, can you tell me what it's like being a manager? Hey, can you tell me what it's like changing jobs or whatever? Find a mentor and someone who can give you that perspective, because understanding how your boss thinks, understanding why is somebody asking me to do this and why does it matter? The only way to get that strategic thinking is to get repetition with it and get exposure to it. Having mentors, having conversations, and doing the extra work, like turning in your project, turning in your submission to your teacher or your boss, and just spending 5 minutes thinking, okay, what did I just do? What is my teacher going to think of the essay that I wrote? What is my boss going to think of the report that I just gave them? At those kind of things, it's a little extra work, right? A bunch of people just turn that in, email it to their boss, and just say, okay, I'm going to go do something else. Spending a little time thinking, hey, what does the person above me think about? What do they care about? You need to get repetition with that in order to build it. And getting mentors, asking why, and spending a little bit of time thinking, hey, why does this matter? Or where are we going with this? Are ways that you can develop that. And if you develop that faster, the people above you are going to see, hey, this person's smart. I don't have to force this person to think about why this matters. And you're going to get more promotions, make more money, and have a bigger impact on building a better life for yourself and the people around
Very good, Gio. I think one of the things that you triggered in my mind as you were speaking is one of the things that an advice that one of my early managers gave me that to continue doing was to be inquisitive and ask questions, right? The more interested you are, the more interested you seem, the more engaged that you are, you can start to see around corners. You can start to build your own strategy. But if you're just taking orders and there's no why in that, you're never going to be able to start piecing that together and start moving those to start making those next steps, thinking about those next things. So be inquisitive, ask questions. Don't be. And as a manager, it's important to know where your employees are from a skill set and knowledge set. So if you ask a question and it's what is a boat, then your manager knows that's the level that they need to be at to try and coach you. And if your question is what is a yacht? Okay, well then you know a little bit more about boats, right? You have something more specific, all right? Or what is the stern? Okay, that's a different part of the boat. It means your level of understanding of aquatics or of boats is different, right? So asking questions can tell people around you where you are so they can help try and guide you to that next level.
Specific skills that are probably needed in the workspace. So, what are those specific skill sets that you feel probably as a manager or someone who has worked in the HR department before? So, what are the skills you feel that are needed from graduates when probably they're looking for a job?
A little bit of a repeat, but so the question is, what are the skills that managers are looking for from early graduates? I think some of it is the integrity and the honesty, and when you say you're going to do something, you do it. What I just talked about, being inquisitive, asking questions, going the extra mile, right? One of the things that I love that employees do for me is they think about what I'm going to ask for next, right? So if I ask for a task, and in my mind it's 5 tasks, but if I'm just asking for the first one, excuse me, and that person just brings me that task, they're not thinking, okay, what is he going to ask next, or why is he asking this? What is the eventual goal, right? Taking a step back, right? If that person can say, okay, here's what you asked me to do, or hey, I did this task, but this didn't seem right. You may want to look at this, or if this didn't seem right, I looked into it. It's okay because of X, right? So starting to take those next steps, like Gio said, like what is your manager going to anticipate? If you can make your boss's job easier, they will love you. So make your boss's job easier.
One of the greatest pieces of advice I got in my first job out of school was that you're hired for your discretion. So a lot of people think, especially now that you're going through school, it's all about what do you know, right? Do you know that on the test? Can you answer that on the test? Can you write this paper? Have you read the material? And that's an important piece of it. But especially the types of jobs that most of you are going into, you're hired for your discretion. the choices that you make, the discernment that you have, the comparison that you have of I could do this or I could do this and I'm going to choose to do this. I could follow up with this person, ask my boss another question, respond to this customer, make sure I stay on top of this. The choices that you make are the source of your success. And when you realize that your job is not just to follow orders, your job is not just to know the thing that someone taught you, your job is to figure out problems. Your job is to make something better, because more and more, like, you need to be able to figure out something that was not just told to you, that you can't look up in a textbook. And you guys have a great foundation for that. The things that you're taught at A2S, the things that happen in workforce development workshops like this are all to expand your mind and help you see that there's something more than just what's in the textbook. And it's your ability to make a choice, to choose the right thing, to apply the learning that you got in, the last time you did it or another team that you're on. And I think that those things show up in three ways. And none of these are in a textbook. It's the 3 C's. One is collaboration, another is commitment, and another is curiosity. So many of the jobs that you guys are going to do, especially as you rise up and you want to become a manager, or you want to work in a more important job, is about collaboration. You need to work with other people. You need to get information from somewhere, work with a customer, work with your boss. You need to be able to work with other people to bring information and ideas and decisions and resources together to solve a problem and get a job done. It's commitment. These things are not easy, right? It wasn't easy to get into your university, to take the test, to do the studying, and it just keeps getting harder, and you're going to get better and you're going to be able to do harder things, but you need to be committed to doing the job well, and you need to make sure that when it's not obvious, or they didn't give you all the information, or you've never done this before, that you're committed to doing a great job and you get it done. And the final one is curiosity. Andrew touched on this a bunch. Ask why. Wonder what your boss cares about. Wonder, why are we beating our competitors? Why do customers want to come from us? Why is the research showing these data, whatever it is? Being curious, if you can be committed to a great outcome, you can collaborate with other people, and you can keep an engine of curiosity going and being a machine for learning, then you're going to outshine your peers, and your boss is going to be like, I don't know what after school program they went to. I don't know who mentored them and did workforce development with them, but this is someone I want on my team, and I want to give them more responsibility. And more responsibility, doing more, having a bigger impact is the path to you benefiting people, being a blessing in the world, and making the living that is going to be something that is good for you. You have a question? Question. And here's the founder.
No, and I just wanted to add that in your day and age, the most important thing is your ability to eliminate distractions. So I'm going to use Caleb as an example. All right. I worked with Caleb for 9 months in the office, and his desk was right outside my office door. All right. Sometimes I would just come into the office. So I've had interns before, and when I show up in the office, guess what? I would see interns when they're supposed to be working on their phones. I would see interns distracted by everything happening around the world. But I worked with him for 9 months. Not once did I open the door and see him not working. Not once did I open the door and see him not focused on something that's important. And he was so willing to jump in to say, hey, wherever I can help. Even if it's not my job, I want to help. At the end of your 9 months, did A2S offer you a job? A2S offered him a job because we didn't want to lose him. But at the end of the day, there was another opportunity that was really out there that he wanted. But A2S saw that he was willing to go the extra mile. But I also saw someone who was just coming out of the university that was not glued to this. And every now and then after working, he would say, I'm going to go take a walk to clear my head. That's that 5-10 minutes that you guys are talking about. But everyone in the office wanted him to get away because we saw how busy he's been. So he goes for a walk to clear his head, and he comes right back to the work. He doesn't go and start checking social media. So your ability to be focused is going to be really important. It's not you do work for 10 minutes, you really go Instagram for 20 minutes, you see your boss not to see. It adds no value to you whatsoever. But the thing is, if you're faithful in little, you'll be faithful in much. So if you don't build that discipline today, don't expect it to transition when you get a job, because people are going to be looking out for that. Okay?
one more quick thing to add. Mistakes. We make mistakes all the time, right? But what's most important is learning from our mistakes. As a manager, as a boss, when you have to keep going back to the same person and they keep repeatedly doing the same problem, they haven't taken the initiative to figure that out. So make mistakes, make lots of mistakes, learn from them, and then demonstrate that you've learned from them, right? Then that creates a ton of confidence in the people around you, right? Okay, this person's gonna make mistakes, we all do, but they're gonna succeed because they're determined to figure out where they fell short and they're going to improve on it. And guess what? That's now solidified in their toolkit. They're going to not make that mistake again, and they're going to be able to do higher level things. So just learning from your mistakes and being able to prove that you've done that.
Thank you. Next, what's the right way to voice concern when there is pressure from superiors or team members to cut corners or disregard standard procedures? The right way to voice out concern when there is pressure from superiors or team members to cut corners or disregard standard procedures.
So, like I was saying before, there's always going to be this pressure, not like every day and every job you do, but like you're going to run into this throughout your life where someone's pressuring you to cut corners. They say, oh, just say that you did it, or just tell them that we already sent it to them, or tell them that that we already shipped it and it's coming soon, because a bunch of people like aren't dedicated to excellence, are not on top of their job, they're under pressure, and they push that pressure around them. So I think you're going to need to decide in those situations, hey, are we just like being flexible, or is this something that's wrong to do? And there are a couple things that you should do to raise that. One, you should speak to the person directly and make sure that you're understanding what they're saying. Because sometimes you may be misinterpreting that. You might think that your boss is telling you to lie, and they're saying, "No, I already sent it. Just tell them I'm not lying to you. This is the right thing." So I think you want to clarify with the person that's talking to you and say, "Hey, are you saying that we should say that we would send a shipment even though we didn't? What's going on here?" And see if they're going to be clear with you of like, "Yeah, we just have to lie to them because I'm going to get in trouble. So lie for me and help me or whatever." So you want to like talk to the person who's telling you and figure out whether you're actually interpreting that right. I think another way to do it, or a follow up from that, is see if there's an alternative and say, hey, you know what? I'd really not like to lie to the customer. I really like to not have to steal this thing. Is there some other way we can do this? I care about your success and my success and us doing this thing right. What if we do this some other way? What if I talk to the customer and say, hey, you know what? We have a problem here. I'm working on it. I'm really dedicated. It's going to be a couple days late. I didn't want to lie to you. That's the real thing. And figure out if there's another way to do it. Ultimately, if those things don't work, you have to understand who around you cares about things the way that you care about them, and if there's someone safe to talk to. What you don't want to do is go to your boss's boss and say, he's telling me to lie, and the boss's boss says, yeah, I told him to tell you to lie, and then you're just in trouble and you've just kind of caused a problem for yourself. You need to know if there's someone safe for you to go to so that you can talk about that, and then ultimately hopefully find somebody that you can tell about it to say, hey, we want to do this a different way. And ultimately, if none of that's available to you and you're just in an environment that is going to keep telling you to lie, telling you to steal, telling you to mistreat people, then you're going to have to make a hard decision for yourself and say, hey, is there another job that I can get where I don't have to be dealing with this, where I can work with people who are honest and we can still do a good job without lying and cheating, and figure out if there's a different way that you can get out of that environment.
Another question. So concerning mistakes, so how then do you admit that you make mistakes without being competent? Not being competent. Yes, and also how then can you show that you're willing to learn without looking clueless?
Yeah. So this is a follow-up question then, and good ones. I think that, so first is, um,
Admit make mistakes.
how do you admit when you make mistakes? All right. So coming back to honesty, right? Like I think being vulnerable and being honest is super important, but doing it in not in a meek way where you're like, oh, timid, but like, look, I made this mistake and I made it because of this. I thought this happened. If you had misinformation, if you were taught something wrong, or you're like, I made these assumptions and they weren't correct. Being transparent and clear with what it was that why you made that mistake. I rushed this. I didn't have enough time. Whatever it is, right? Like, be honest about that, right? Because if you lie, if you tell things that aren't true, and this comes back to the question that Gio just answered, is like, it will catch up with you, right? And so if you're honest and transparent about what happened, and doing it immediately. Do not hide it. Like, one of the toughest things for a manager to do is when a mistake is made and someone makes it, they know they made it, and they don't fess up about it, and it comes back 2 weeks later. I guarantee you, if you come to me the same day or the next day with a mistake versus me catching it 2 weeks later and I knew you did it and you knew it and you didn't say anything, my attitude about that mistake is going to be radically different. Radically different. So that's really important, right? So if you're like, that way people don't know, they don't worry about the skeletons that might be in the closet, right? They're like, okay, if there's something wrong, Blessing's going to tell me about it. If there isn't, then I don't need to worry about it. And then, what was the other one? Oh, that you're willing to learn. Yeah. So I think that going the extra mile, right? So, like, if you, like, say you make a mistake and then you redo the task, is how did you get there? Show your work, right? So what did you do to fill that gap, right? And it depends on the situation, but whether it's an email or it's a discussion or it's a longer paper, whatever it is, whatever the assignment is, to say, look, here's where I was, here's where I am now, and here's how I got here. Showing your work is a really important way of uh, telling people and explaining to people how you're willing to learn.
Can I add something? We were talking earlier about strategic thinking, and I want to encourage you guys that your strategy around making mistakes is going to be really important to your success. And by that, I mean, if strategy is being able to see a few moves ahead and to look across time and look through to second and third order effects, it's very not strategic to try to hide your mistakes. If you're hiding your mistakes, and listen, it's natural, like we can all admit, we don't want to seem dumb, we don't want someone to think we're incompetent and stuff like that. If you're just focused on that mistake, then what's going to happen is you're going to have an adversarial relationship with your manager. And like Andrew was saying, someone's going to say, well, this person's probably hiding something else from me, and I have to check their work, and I can't trust them to do this. And it's very not strategic because there's a bigger game being played, because that mistake is not the only thing. You have a relationship with your manager, you have a reputation, you have your reliability, you have your how good of a learner you are. Those are all things that are more important than probably any single mistake that you've made. And what you need to do is you need to play the bigger game, build a relationship with your manager and say, hey, you know what? I'm sure this is disappointing for you. I'm sorry. Let me fix it, blah, blah, blah. And build that relationship and show that you're willing to learn from it. Be strategic about your mistakes and turn that mistake into something that shows that manager who's seen 7 other people hide their mistakes say, oh my goodness, so refreshing. Finally, I have someone that caught their own mistake. That's good. That told me about it. That's good. That knows what they did wrong. That's good. That asked for help. That's good. Do 4 strategic things with this that are building your reputation and then helping you learn and putting you on the same side of your manager instead of the one short-sighted thing of hopefully they'll never notice. Listen, my dad has told me this thing since I was a kid. Reality, what's real in the world? Reality is our friend. So if the reality is that you made a mistake, then be friends with that and say, hey, how do I deal with this? Instead of trying to ignore reality. Because if your boss is not a complete dummy, if they're not completely lacking a brain in their head, they're going to know about it at some point and it's going to be worse. So own up to it and do something strategic to say, hey, you know what? This isn't that bad. I'm going to learn from it. And now I'm going to be the person that doesn't make this mistake anymore. You want someone on your team that doesn't make those mistakes, right? Well, now I know not how to make it. Be strategic with your mistakes.
Yeah, and I would just like to add and reiterate to ask for help because everyone has been through making a mistake. And once you own up for that mistake and ask for help to not make the mistake again, then you'll be able to learn and show that you care about what you're doing.
Last question on studies. For students who get easily distracted, what is the simplest daily strategy you have seen work to improve retention and focus instead of studying harder?
Just how to reduce distraction.
The best
Yes.
best strategy for reducing distraction.
I would say definitely taking breaks, but make sure those breaks are something that won't bring you into distraction. So maybe I always like to just go for a walk or clear my head because once I come back, then I'm ready to focus again rather than going on my phone or doing something like that.
I would say to give yourself the conditions for success. So there are a bunch of things that A2S does to make sure you have an environment and people around you so you can succeed. Like I was saying, as you grow up and as you get older, you're responsible, you're your own boss. So put yourself in a position where you can succeed. Sometimes that means putting your phone in another room because that's your distraction. Just remove it from you. Sometimes that means putting your phone on airplane mode so that you're not getting a bunch of notifications. Sometimes that means clearing your desk so that the only thing you see is this book and you have nothing else to reach for and you just have it. Figure out what you can do to give yourself the conditions for success and do what you can to change your environment, change what's around you, change your mood or your energy or whatever you can do to do it. Figure out how you can make it easy for yourself. Because like the question said, just telling yourself, oh, be smart, study harder, try harder, like that's only going to get you so far. You need to build systems around yourself, remove the distractions from you, build a habit, find the right time of the day to do it so that it's easier for you to succeed, because all of the things that you do that make you successful are things that make the hard things easy. That's what a company does. That's what A2S does. That's what friends and mentors do. They take these things that are hard and they make it easier, and you need to learn to do that for yourself and build this thing of focus that's hard for everyone. Find out how to make it easy for yourself.
That'll be all for now. Thank you.
Good job. You did a good job.
Please let's put our hands together for him. I enjoyed myself, and I'm sure that you did, right? We've learned something today. In fact, we've learned a lot of things today from the questions that we've asked. We prepared those questions ourselves, right? So, how many of us, how many of us here sent a question that was answered and we are very clear, we gained clarity? Can I see your hand up? Just one, two, three. The rest of you, some of you are not bold. You're not bold of the question you sent. Somebody said, how can I avoid distraction when preparing for examination with the introduction of social media and all of that? You know that despite the fact that we've always had social media, we still have scholars and people who are doing great things. So I feel like to an extent, to a large extent, what you prioritize will determine what you do, right? So if I know that I have a focus, something or somewhere that I want to be, I do not think that social media should be what will distract me from doing what I am supposed to do. Do we agree? How many of you are on Facebook? Just one person is a lie. Sophia, nobody, but yeah,
Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Oh, this one, like LinkedIn, short. Okay, please let's clap for ourselves. All right, so we are going to have a quick activity, right? During one of the sessions that we had, I think it was Mr. Andrew Tussin, he was talking about identifying your strengths. Some of you talked about your strengths and all of those things that you think you need to improve on. We're going to be doing that generally, right? So we are a team, but we are going to be working individually. My strength cannot be your strength, right? We all have different strengths. So please pull up your pen and your paper. Don't do expo. You are not spying. Don't spy somebody's strengths. Otherwise, you will defend that strength now. I'm so sorry. I was supposed to call her. She has gone back. Sorry. Please put your hands together for our beautiful scholarship admission. So sorry. Okay, so she'll be joining me, right, to facilitate this session, right? So, should I start? Or you want to start? Okay, so the title of this activity is Know Your Edge, right? Know your edge. Now, I want everybody seated here to write 3 personal strengths that helps you succeed. 3, just 3. I know you have lots of strengths, but out of the lots of strengths that you have, just give me 3. 3 personal strengths that you know will help you succeed. Some people are thinking about their strengths and they are looking at me. You have a strength. If you can fight, write it there. You can fight. Take it to do WWE. No strength is wasted, my brother. Write it. Hmm? You are thinking. You are done. Eh? You know this. Have you written it? I did not see your hand. Wow. Hmm? Are we done? 3 personal strength. If they wake you up now and they say, do this from your strength, you can do it. Some of you, no, I will not give the example because you will take my example. Write your own. Some people are waiting for idea. These 2 people, they are discussing their strengths. Are you sharing strengths? Please write your own. Your strengths. Scholarship coordinator has her strength. I know one of her strengths. She can unwrap fufu. If she unwrap fufu here, you will not believe.
Yeah, things along the line. She's a great communicator.
Communication. You're communicating with people today.
Please let me visit the
Oh,
Okay, we'll move right to the next question. After we have listed our strengths, 3, I presume you have written that down. We are going to write the 3 skills you would like to improve to prepare for your future career. So 3 skills that you need to improve to prepare for your future career. Oh, I did not know how to address the public, and that is a skill that, yes, I would give you example because I'm nice like that
okay. So it's not less.
at all.
Let me give you an example too.
So yeah, three skills that you would need to work on towards your future career. She, she worked.
What's sit down, we come back for that. Then you come back during the next workshop. Have we written three areas we'd like to improve for your future career? Three skills. We've written the three skills, right? How many of us are still writing? Sure. Okay. So the next, you're gonna be writing one personal value that you believe will guide your professional journey. Let me give you an example. I'm nice too. An example could be that you're somebody who has, I don't want to see what I want to say on your integrity, right? It could be somebody that has integrity. That's something that you know that is a personal value for you. I know those that have integrity. Oh. I don't want to see integrity if you don't have integrity. In fact, use the other personal value, write others, don't write integrity. One personal, just one, that you believe will guide your professional journey. We are earning our edge, right? You're on a journey. So please. Okay.
It's just one, so I presume that we've written. Are we done? All right. So the last question we have to answer: how can technology and continuous learning help you stay competitive? How can technology and continuous learning help you stay competitive? You know, some of you in final year now, you're like, I just want to finish school, and that's the end.
And save.
That's not the end. Learning is continuous, I assure you. So, how can technology and continuous learning help you stay competitive? Is it competitive or competitive? Competitive, I was correct. What?
Fun, competitive.
Why do you want to put that up?
Okay.
He's right enough.
Mm.
Remember, you are building your edge, you are earning your edge, you are knowing your edge. That's the objective of this activity. Give 30 seconds to those persons still writing. Mm. Mm. Mhm.
Are we done? Are we done? If you are done, say I'm done. If you are not done, say I'm not done.
If you're still on the fire, say I'm
If you are
not.
still on the fire, say remain small. I'm half done. Okay. So finally, you are going to identify three practical ways that you can prepare yourself for future opportunities. I have my own way, right? You have your own way. So, what are three practical? The ways you are writing it must be practical. Practical ways that you can prepare yourself for future opportunities. It's not enough to know your edge. It's not enough to come for workshop, but you have to do something after the workshop, right? So what do you do? What would you do from now? 3 practical ways. Just 3. I know you have about 8. I just need 3.
Doable action items.
Yeah. You will do them like it's like I'll collect the stuff when they are done, so that I'll start tracking them. So I'll not carry the work. 3 practical ways that you can prepare yourself for future opportunity. Whatever I'm going to do is personal. Whatever you are doing is personal. There is no right or wrong answer. The way I will prepare myself is different from the way Lola will prepare herself. It's different from the way Good Luck will prepare himself. So 3 practical ways. Something that you know is doable. Something you will do.
Something you can do.
Something you can do.
And to add to that, you don't put vague like items like I will put myself out there. That is vague. So what does it mean to put yourself out there? You have to be as specific as possible. Try not to be vague with your practical ways, action items. Very true,
You can even add a specific timeline.
if possible.
Yes, you can add between now and so time. I'm going to do this. Maybe 2027, I would have done. If you're in 100 level, between now and 2027, I will do this. Between now and this, I will build this. Between now and this time, I will build this. And you have to work towards what you have written. So you are not just writing it for the sake of they asked us to write it during workshop. You are writing it because you know that you are writing something that you have to commit to.
Just like your opportunity map. Just like your opportunity. Yes. Because they know I'm holding that over their head. Very true. Okay, so we are going to be giving 3 persons the opportunity to come and share what they have put down. So we'll be taking 3 volunteers. If you don't volunteer, I will call your name. I know you. I know your name. So I would call you.
Even if you look at this side,
No, the people that I have decided to call, they are at the back of my head. Yes. Volunteers.
some persons are forming right and right.
Okay,
No
going.
volunteer.
So we have one volunteer. Please put hands together for Jefta as he comes out. Jefta, please come out. Any other volunteer? Onimi, Oseremi. Please put hands together for Oseremi as she comes out. Come out now. Okay, we have one more. Victory, you are lucky because you are the one I was going to call. Okay, please put hands together for Marvelous as he comes out. I think we should take one after school academy kid. So somebody from the after school academy should volunteer, or I will call you. Someone from the after school academy volunteer, or I will call you. Each of your sources come out. Please put hands together for her as she comes out. So share with the audience. Please come closer so that the camera can capture me. Yes. your name, your and what you have done.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marvelous. Okay. First of all, my three personal strengths. I'll say creativity and problem solving, continuous and fast learning, then resilience and adaptability. Then the three skills I need to improve to prepare for my future career. I'll say communication and public speaking, discipline and focus, then time management skills. Then one personal value that would guide me in my professional journey would be commitment and dedication to whatever I'm doing. Then, how can tech and continuous learning help you stay competitive? So, for me, tech and continuous learning gives you that edge you need to stay current in this digital age. Then, the last question, three practical ways to prepare myself for future opportunities. And the first one, learning and implementing everything, learning and implementing what I've learned, that's putting it into practice. Then volunteering with my skills so I can gain competence. Then building the right connections and network.
Good day, everyone. My name is Success. Three personal skills that will help me succeed is communicating skills and problem solving. That's the two I know. And three skills that I will need to work on is tech skills and strategic thinking. That's the two I know too. One personal value to guide me in my personal journey is courage. And practical ways to prepare for my future opportunities is through communication and leadership. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jefta, and I'll be sharing with you three strengths that I think can help me succeed. So, my first one is strategic planning and goal setting, then consistency and resilience. Then, what skill would be the biggest impact on my future career if I developed it over the next year? I have critical thinking, communication skill, and having the confidence to answer any question being thrown at me. Then, one personal value that will guide my professional journey is building my communication skills. Then, the next question, how can tech and continuous learning help me stay competitive? So, my own answer to this question is with tech, with technology, with social media, and the internet, we are being exposed to various happenings around the world. And getting exposed to these things builds my mind and think, what can I do that can project me into the world that everyone can have to talk about me? So this alone will build my critical thinking skill and will also improve me to make me a rare commodity to be competitive because I have this problem solving ability irrespective of where I find myself. Then three practical ways to prepare myself for future opportunity. One I have here is after work, like continuous program development. That is, as I have this workshop, it doesn't just end here, but rather I go home, reflect, and think about what I've learned from this workshop and how I can improve myself. I can go in and read further books and so on and so forth, far beyond the entry level. That is not just learning things at the basic level, but going deeper in order to develop more skills on it. Then also, I can also think about the opportunities that I believe that can be available for me in the future. Like for example, I'm training to become a medical laboratory scientist. So this is my career path, and what opportunities will be available for me if I continue in this way. So me thinking about them will enable me that okay, since I believe that a time in the future is coming that this opportunity is going to get to me, I have to prepare myself for them accordingly. Then lastly, our build personal values and quality and
the personality, the person I want to be, or the person I see myself being in the future, I have to start building it right from now. Thank you.
My personal strengths are public speaking, networking, and debates. Debates. Skills I would like to improve on. I want to improve on for my future career. My public speaking, I don't really have much experience actually public speaking. Communication skills and my consistency. I'm very inconsistent. I would plan something and I'll do it 1 to 3 days. I'll not reach half or the end. My personal value that I want to my personal value is I want to be true to myself, even even no matter the situation I find myself. How can technology help me stay competitive? Okay, Com- technology does is constantly improving in every sector we find ourselves. Banking sector, technology is just with the rise of AI. Technology is becoming rampant everywhere. You see technology even where you don't think it is, even transportation, food, it's just everywhere. So we need to be updated in tech wise, yes. We need to be updated in everything that's going on. Because if you are not updated, we'll be less valuable. And practical ways to prepare for future opportunities is to continuous learning and understanding and utilizing my strengths and learning a tech skill. And I want to learn motion graphics.
She wants to learn motion graphics. Is there anybody here that is into motion graphics that can teach her? Anybody? You are? You are? Into motion graphics. She had to share strengths, area of improvement, personal values with us. A very big thank you from me to you. I owe you a gift. So after this session, come and see me back and a gift. So you smart. Speak silver credit. So right about now, we are going to be welcoming once again with our hands down of course. With our hands down with our hands down with our better, with our better, it's coming up. So let's be walking once again, our very own students. It's a hands together.
Hey, hey guys, I hope you had a great time today. You guys learned something?
Yes.
Okay, before prayers, I think for me it was really nice to be here today, and I wanted to at least acknowledge the person that we felt like participated the most today, and I would, Miss Peculiar, can you guys help me with names? So we wanted to pick out the person that engaged the most today, and I was just told that they're actually a twin, and they both participated so much today, and just really encouraging you guys that when you attend workshops like this, one of the things that it's a good platform to practice speaking, practice communicating, right? Practice being engaged and involved. And so I would let Peculiar think. Where's your sister? All right, come up here. Yeah, we have injected as backwards for school. They are special backpacks, so very few people have them. Okay? That's what we want the activity. So you guys get these pouches for your cards, okay? You know how I use them? So I put them on the back of my phone and I put my cards on my ID, right? So you guys want the activity. Gio and Andy, you can get yours back in the States. It did not say steal. It did not say take. It did not say buy. It said earn your edge. Earn it. Anything that you earn cannot be taken away from you. So earn it. Earn it. No shortcuts. Earn it. I've never seen a man who earned it and lost it. But if you get it somehow, you will lose it somehow. Okay? Do you guys, your session start back up tomorrow? Is there anything you want to pass on to them or they know the schedule? All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, quick one. Tomorrow our session starts by 9. Let's do well to be punctual. Late coming tomorrow is not going to be accepted because tomorrow is the weekend. So there's no class, there's no test, there's no assignment to be submitted during the weekend. So I expect that we are all here as early as possible and then we start at 9. Um, yes, also we have our pre-survey on the group for scholars. So please do well to after now. Okay, you're not even with your phone, so you can you don't think we were paying attention. So after now, when you get back to your phones, please do well to fill that out before tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow we are basically going to be continuing from the first workshop on uh, technology. So the technology class, you are going to be learning introduction to web design and development, data and finance and data analysis. You will be learning visualizing data, charts and graphs, and media and marketing. You are going to be learning poster and flyer design. So all of these is a continuation in what you learned during the second quarter workshop rather. So if you check your registration, you did not fill out any session for day 2 because you are going back to where you were during the second quarter workshop. So for your own sake, I hope you remember where you were during the second quarter workshop. Else just be at the back. That is about that. Again, please come early. If you come late, we will not to into the premises. If you come late, we will not to into the premises. So come early. We start at 9. So you should be here before 9. Are we good? Is that an agreement? Is that an agreement? All right. So we are going to be saying our closing prayers. Okay, yes. So while we wait to get our lunch, we should network. You must network. If I see you on your chair and you're not networking, stand up. Network with the facilitators. Network with, don't network with me. Don't network with me. Go and network with somebody else. Network with others. Network with you. Network with you. Yeah, so we have Caleb here, we have Miss Charlotte, we have Mr. Andrew, Mr. Joe Paddy, we have Mr. Isosa, he's somewhere around the back. Mr. Isosa, please wait. Mr. Isosa, please wait. So there's Mr. Isosa, he's one of our first scholars. So network with him. Network with him. He's a good resource to network. So grab him by the collar. So we are going to be taking closing prayers now. Please, the networking is going to be after our closing prayers. And please, can we write for our closing prayers? Can we all write for our prayers? We are praying. Stretch and Heavenly Father, we are grateful. We are grateful for your love. We are grateful for your mercies. We say, may your name be highly exalted in the name of Jesus. So we thank you for the success of the first day of this workshop. We commit the remaining day of the workshop, which is tomorrow, into your hands. Lord, we ask that you take absolute control. We ask that you take preeminence in the name of Jesus. Father, we pray that all that we have learned here today and all that we are going to be learning tomorrow is going to be beneficial to us in all ramifications of our lives in the name of Jesus. Father, as we go about the rest of our day, we ask that your spirit go before us. We ask that your spirit guide and lead us in the name of Jesus. We ask for the grace to do the biddings of your will and your spirit in the name of Jesus. Thank you, most righteous Father. Thank you, most faithful Father. Thank you. We love you, sweet Jesus. Be thou exalted, O Lord. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Network. Network. Like rabbits on. So, ignore network. One accent. One accent.